What if I told you that most people spend between $5,000 and $15,000 setting up their living room and still end up with a space that does not feel like home? That is not a scare tactic. That is the 2026 data. But here is what the price tags do not tell you: the difference between a room that looks like it cost a fortune and one that actually did is not always the money. It is the thinking behind every single decision. In this video, we are breaking down the real cost of setting up a living room interior in 2026, the pros, the cons, the traps, and the smartest moves you can make whether you have $500 or $50,000. Stay until the end because I am giving you a step-by-step design framework that will change the way you see every room you walk into for free. Let us go. But before we dive in, if you are new here, welcome to Home and Interior Apartment. This channel exists for one reason: to prove that great design is not a luxury. It is a decision. We break down real homes, real budgets, and real results. If that sounds like your kind of content, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell so you never miss a video. And drop a comment below. Tell me, are you designing from scratch or giving an existing room a refresh? I read every single comment, and your answer might even shape our next video. All right, let us talk money, design, and everything in between. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that there is no single cost of setting up a living room. There are tiers, and the tier you operate in will determine everything: the results, the timeline, and whether you feel proud of your space 6 months from now or quietly disappointed. Tier 1, the budget build, $500 to $3,000. This is the DIY-driven approach. You are sourcing from IKEA, Amazon, thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, and the occasional lucky find at a HomeGoods. At this tier, the design fee is zero because you are the designer. Your biggest costs are furniture, a rug, some lighting, and paint. Done right, a budget build can look absolutely beautiful. Done without a plan, it becomes a collection of things that do not quite work together. Tier 2, the mid-range transformation, $3,000 to $10,000. This is where most homeowners land in 2026. You are mixing investment pieces with smarter mid-range finds. You might hire an online interior designer, and yes, that is a real and powerful option now. Online AI hybrid design services in 2026 now average $450 to $1,200 per room on a flat fee. For that investment, you receive a full design concept, photorealistic 3D renderings, a curated shopping list, and a professional eye guiding every single choice. That is extraordinary value. If you go full service, where a local designer visits your home, manages contractors, and oversees installation, the professional design plan alone will run you between $1,200 and $1,800 in 2026. That is before furniture. And if you need a general contractor coordinating the build-out, expect a standard project management fee of around 20% added to your total. Tier 3, the professional full-service, $10,000 to $50,000 and beyond. At this level, a professional designer is handling everything: custom furniture, bespoke lighting, architectural upgrades, window treatments. The entire environment is curated. Hourly rates for experienced designers in 2026 range from $100 to $500 per hour. A full project at this tier can run from $10,000 to $50,000 or more, and that is before the cost of furnishings. Is it worth it? For the right person with the right project? Absolutely. We will get into that. Let me give you the real line item breakdown, because when people say they spent $8,000 on their living room, you have to ask, what went where? Here is what the 2026 data tells us for a mid-range living room setup. A sofa, $1,200 to $3,500. Modular sofas are dominating 2026 budget accordingly. A rug, $200 to $800. The anchor of the room, do not cut corners here. A coffee table, $150 to $600. Accent chairs, $300 to $1,200 per chair. A lighting, floor lamps and overhead, $200 to $1,500. A window, treatments and drapery, $500 to $5,000 per room. Paint and eco-coatings, $100 to $450. Professional grade low VOC paint has risen in cost. Decor artwork, throw pillows, vases, books, $200 to $800. A smart home tech integration, $400 to $1,000. Charging surfaces, smart glass, invisible tech, custom furniture design, $1,000 to $5,000 per piece. Interior designer fee if hiring, $1,200 to $5,000 for design services. Now here is something worth understanding. The base cost to professionally plan a living room design before a single piece of furniture is purchase starts at approximately $1,200 to $1,800 in 2026. And if a general contractor is supervising the project, the standard markup is a 20% project management fee on the total. There is also a newer cost factor that many people overlook. In 2026, eco-certified furniture, reclaimed woods, carbon-neutral shipping, sustainably sourced materials carries roughly a 15% premium over standard alternatives. Going green costs a little more upfront, but for many homeowners, the values alignment is worth it. None of this means you have to spend all of it. That is the beauty of intentional design. You choose where to invest and where to be strategic. 2026 Design Insight. Generative spatial AI tools have changed the planning process entirely. Users are now using visual search-to-cart features where AI identifies every item in a photo and finds current 2026 pricing and stock availability instantly. This cuts research time from hours to minutes and helps you avoid buying pieces that are no longer available or have jumped in price. Let us talk about the upside. Because when done right, whether you spent $1,500 or $15,000, a well-designed living room pays you back in ways that go far beyond aesthetics. Pro 1. Your daily mood and mental health. Your environment shapes you. Science has confirmed this for decades. A cluttered, poorly lit, unbalanced room creates subtle but real psychological stress. A thoughtfully designed room does the opposite. It lowers cortisol, improves focus, and signals to your brain that you are safe and at ease. This is not abstract. This is why you feel instantly calm the moment you walk into a certain hotel lobby. Great design is emotional engineering. Pro 2. Real property value. A well-designed living room increases the perceived and actual value of your home. Buyers and renters respond to a space that feels cohesive and elevated. The living room is the first room people experience. It sets the tone for the entire property. Pro 3. Professional expertise is genuinely valuable. Here is something people overlook. Interior designers have access to trade discounts on furniture and materials that the general public simply cannot access. A good designer can sometimes offset their own fee entirely through the savings they pass on to you. They also prevent costly mistakes. That sofa you loved online that looks completely wrong in your actual space? A designer catches that in the floor plan before you spend $2,000. Pro 4. Cohesion, the most underrated word in design. The difference between a room that looks like a catalog and one that feels like a home is cohesion. Every piece working in harmony, the scale, the color, temperature, the texture, contrast. This is something a professional eye accelerates dramatically. And it is also something you can learn to develop yourself through intentional practice. Pro 5. Smart design saves money long term. When you plan properly, you stop buying things twice. You stop returning furniture that does not fit. You stop repainting walls because you chose the wrong undertone. Upfront investment in good design thinking, whether that means hiring someone or deeply educating yourself, saves you significantly more than it costs over time. 2026 living room trend. Design is moving toward interiors that appeal to all the senses, not just the visual. Form, color, and texture are handled with the same level of intention, each reinforcing the other to build a complete atmosphere. Craft is foreground, whether through traditional techniques or new material hybrids. I promised you honesty, so let us go there. Con 1. The cost is genuinely high if you are not prepared. The average interior design project in 2026 runs between $1,900 and $11,200 for consultation, design work, and furnishings combined. If you walk into this without a clear budget ceiling, it is very easy to overspend. Scope creep is real. One upgrade leads to another, and before you know it, you are 3 times over what you planned. The fix is simple. Set a hard number before you start. Write it down. Treat every single decision as a line item against that number. Con 2. The sustainability premium. This is a 2026 specific reality that nobody is talking about loudly enough. If you want eco-certified furniture, and many buyers do now, you are looking at roughly a 15% price premium over standard alternatives. Reclaimed wood tables, carbon-neutral shipping, plant-dyed upholstery. These are beautiful choices, but they come with a real cost attached. Budget for it intentionally rather than being caught off guard. Con 3: DIY mistakes are expensive. Designing your own space without a strong plan is one of the most common ways people waste money in home design. A single mistake in furniture scale, buying a sofa that is too large for the room, can cost $1,500 to $2,000 and leave you with a space that feels instantly wrong. Without a trained eye, it is genuinely easy to overlook the details that make or break a space: proportion, lighting placement, traffic flow, and color undertones. Con 4: communication challenges with designers. If you hire a designer and the communication breaks down, if they do not truly understand your vision, your lifestyle, how you actually live in a room, the result can feel like their home, not yours. This is one of the most common complaints from homeowners who have worked with designers. The fix: go into any designer relationship with reference images, a clear brief, and honest conversations about your non-negotiables before signing anything. Con 5: time investment. Even a mid-range living room redesign takes time. Ordering furniture, waiting on delivery, coordinating installations, making hundreds of decisions. DIY projects especially can consume weekends for months. If your time has high personal or professional value, factor that honestly into your comparison of DIY versus hiring out. This is the part 1 promised you at the start. The framework that makes any budget work harder. I call it the anchor layer lift framework. 3 moves. Every great living room follows this structure, whether it costs $800 or $80,000. Step 1. Anchor: choose your hero piece first. Every room needs one undeniable anchor, the piece that defines the space's personality. In most living rooms, that is the sofa. In some, it is an extraordinary rug or a statement wall. Before you buy anything else, choose your anchor. Everything else in the room responds to it. This one decision, made well, prevents 100 bad decisions down the line. And here is the golden rule for 2026, budgeting: the 40/20/40 split. 40% of your total budget on the anchor, primarily the sofa. 20% on the foundation, the rug and the lighting. 40% on the layers: art, smart tech integration, and decor. This framework keeps your spend balanced and prevents the single most common mistake: overspending on one dramatic piece and having nothing left for the details that make the room feel complete. Step 2. Layer: build the visual depth. Layering is what separates a room that looks designed from one that just looks decorated. In 2026, the defining concept here is tactile minimalism, using fewer pieces, but making each one count through high-end texture and material quality rather than volume. This means different textures working together, varying heights across furniture and accessories, and a clear color story with a dominant tone, a secondary tone, and one accent. Natural materials are everything in 2026: wicker, wood grain, linen, woven rugs. They add warmth and visual richness without requiring a large budget. A $30 linen throw pillow does more for a room than most people realize. This is also where you bring in your plants. Biophilic design: bringing nature into the room is not a trend in 2026. It is a cornerstone approach. Plants cluster at varying heights to shape sightlines and add life, oxygen, and calm that no piece of furniture can replicate. Even upholstery this year is drawing from plant-dyed fabrics with tones that shift from sage to moss to deep leaf. Step 3. Lift: add the details that elevate. The lift is everything above eye level: your lighting, your wall art, your architectural details, and in 2026, your invisible tech. A living room setup today almost always includes some level of smart home integration. We are talking charging surfaces built into coffee tables, smart lighting that shifts color temperature through the day, and in some cases, smart glass. Budget: $400 to $1,000 for this category. It is not optional if you want the space to feel genuinely current. A good floor lamp costs between $80 and $300 and transforms how a room feels in the evening. Painting one wall a deep, saturated color: sage green, slate blue, Warm terracotta costs under $150 and creates a magazine-worthy backdrop. Gallery walls bring personality without expensive art. Here is the honest truth. Restraint reads as expensive. A room with fewer, better chosen things will always look more elevated than a room packed with too many pieces. Budget power move for 2026. Go darker and deeper on wall color. Muted sage, warm terracotta, and deep botanical greens are dominating living rooms this year. A single dramatic wall color can reduce your need for additional decor by 40% and still deliver a space that looks intentional and elevated. So here is the honest verdict. Setting up your living room in 2026 can cost as little as $500 or as much as $50,000. The number itself is almost irrelevant. What matters is the intention behind every single decision. The biggest mistake people make is not overspending. It is underthinking, buying furniture before they have a plan, choosing a rug because it was on sale without checking how it reads against their floor tone, ignoring lighting until the room feels like a waiting room with great furniture in it. The pros of investing in your living room are real better daily well-being, stronger property value, a space that feels genuinely like you. The cons: cost, time, complexity are manageable when you go in with clarity and a framework. Your challenge this week: walk into your living room right now and identify your anchor piece. If you do not have one, if nothing immediately feels like the heart of the room, that is your starting point. That is where your redesign begins. Tell me in the comments what your anchor piece is or what you want it to be. I will be replying this week, and I might feature your room in our next video. If this video gave you even one idea you can act on today, share it with someone who is in the middle of designing their space right now. One share helps this channel grow and helps someone else create a home they actually love. Do not forget to subscribe if you have not yet. And if you are ready to go deeper, I have linked our video on the top living room design mistakes of 2026 right here. Pairs perfectly with everything we covered today. I am your host, and this is Home and Interior Apartment, where great design is always within reach. I will see you in the next one.